My mom abandoned my dad and me when I was a baby because she wanted to live her life more without being held back. Now 14 years later, she wants to reconnect. I, 16F, am living with my dad, who has 100% sole custody of me. He has had custody since I was 2. My parents had me when they were quite young. My dad was 18 and my mom was 20, and mom couldn't cope with how my existence inconvenienced her education and social life. She wanted to enjoy university, and my existence got in the way of all of that. Therefore, she upped sticks and left my dad to raise me by himself. And my dad is the complete opposite and has more worth in one of his pinky fingers than her entire existence. He has been both the mother and the father in my life. He has showered me with the love and affection that I needed. He has been strict with me when needed and has guided me to be the person that I am today. And he has never missed a day or an opportunity to let me know how much he loves me. He is my hero, and I doubt that I will ever love anyone else as much as I do my dad. I am unashamed to admit that I am a daddy's girl. Our life has been very stable, and he has done an amazing job of raising me throughout my childhood and into my teenage years. But now the egg donor, I won't apologize for calling her that, because just the thought of calling her mum turns my stomach, is trying to rock the boat. She's contacted me, asking if we could meet up because she wants to reconnect with me. She gave a sob story about how she spent years regretting her decision not to be in my life, and how she's now at a point in her life, mentally and financially, where she wants to give me what I am owed from her. She also has 2 children, 7 and 5, and she is hopeful that I can develop a relationship with my siblings. This is where I feel that I might have been a jerk. Because in an outburst of sudden anger at being contacted, I told her to F off and that nothing she says could convince me to have anything to do with someone I only consider to be an egg donor and incubator in my life. I thought I had given up my anger and resentment towards her a long time ago. But it felt like the dam broke as I let out all of that anger and resentment that had built up over the years, unleashing all of my pent-up feelings toward her. Because the anger that I felt wasn't only for myself and how she abandoned me. I also felt anger for the hurt, pain, and struggle she caused my dad. And here she is, trying to reopen those old wounds that both my dad and I have suffered at her selfish hands. I told her all of that, and how I consider myself to be the child of one parent, as the other one has been dead for most of my life. I'm not ashamed to admit that I took some joy in telling her how amazing a father and man my dad is, and that both my dad and I had a lucky escape getting away from someone as narcissistic and toxic as she is. And the only point where I remained somewhat civil was when I told her that I don't want anything to do with her children. Because despite my anger and resentment toward her, those children are blameless and innocent. And if she tries to use them as an emotional weapon against me or selfishly drags them into all of this, then that would only make me angrier than I already am. I blocked her from all of my socials. Though I know this won't be over anytime soon, and my dad is preparing to lawyer up if she does try to drag this to the courts. But for now, I'm going to try and refocus on my GCSE exams and look forward to the upcoming trip away with my dad to celebrate the end of my exams. /relevant comments. Commenter. Not the jerk. Really, you did what any sane person would do after years of neglect, and to be honest, you deserve a medal because it takes a lot of courage to stand up for yourself. I hope you find a way to move forward with peace of mind and a renewed sense of strength. Ops response. Thankfully, my dad has a big heart, and he has given me the love of 2 parents. I doubt that I'd have the courage to stand up for myself if it wasn't for the way he's raised me. Commenter 2. She's waited 14 years to contact you, while she's had other kids for what, 7 years? Nah. She could have reached out at any point. The fact that she waited until you're old enough to babysit is suspicious as hell. You owe her nothing. Ops response. She tried reaching out last year by contacting my dad. He spoke to me at the time about it, asked what I wanted to do, and he respected my decision of not wanting anything to do with her. He gave my response to her, but she's now bypassed him and contacted me directly. Downvoted commenter. I can't stop wondering who told you the reasons for her leaving. If it's not her, I would like to hear the reason from her own mouth. Ops response. She told me herself as part of her sob story. It was always difficult for my dad to give an appropriate response whenever I did ask him why she left us. But he did his very best to tell me in an age-appropriate way. Is there any chance that Ops' dad can ask for child support if her mom is in a better place financially? My dad isn't struggling for money, and he's been placing money into a fund that I use for uni expenses. The topic of back payments on child support has come up, but I am reluctant to accept any money from her, as I don't want to give her a reason to believe that she now has the right to have a say in my life just because we've accepted money from her. Update 1 month 3 weeks later. This is an update on a post that I made more than a month ago. Editor's note, Op recapped her previous post here, so I am fast-forwarding to the new information. She's made a few attempts over the last couple of years to re-enter my life. Her first attempt was through my dad, and when he spoke to me about it, I told him that I didn't want to know her. He returned that message to her. The most recent attempt occurred the other month. Only this time, she bypassed my dad and messaged me directly. I admittedly blew up at her and took a lot of my frustrations out on her. Eventually, though, she respected the fact that I needed to concentrate on my GCSEs, and she asked if we could meet up after I was done. I then spent a while trying to figure out what I should do. I spoke to my dad about it, and he gave me his full support on whatever my decision would be. In the end, I did agree to meet my mom in a public place, and we met up yesterday at a coffee shop. My dad dropped me off, and I asked him to stay close by to pick me up when I was done, so he went and did a bit of shopping for our upcoming trip away together. I understand that this is getting to be quite a long read now, so I will try to keep it as simple as possible. Basically, my mom started giving me an emotional story about how she has spent the last 10+ years regretting not being in my life. She told me that she was young when she walked out and was really unsure what she wanted in life. I responded that I can understand she was young and that becoming a mom at her age must have been incredibly difficult. But I pointed out that my dad was also young, actually younger than her, in fact. Yet he stepped up and became a single parent, to the detriment of his own future dreams and relationships. So whilst I could sympathize with her, I still couldn't accept that as being a good enough reason. I could see that those words really stung her, and while I knew she was being genuine, I still couldn't forgive her for that, and I did tell her that. She then informed me that her children, my half-siblings, would really like to meet their older sister, and she showed me their photos and told me stories about their lives. This honestly felt like a stab to the heart because a mom talking about her children, sharing photos of them, etc., is what I spent my life wanting. In the end, I had to ask her to stop talking about her children because hearing these stories was bringing up the pain of the mom that I always wanted but never had. I also told her that no matter how much she tries, I will never see her children as my siblings. We didn't grow up together, and we don't know each other. They are nothing but strangers to me and no different from the children I see walking past me in the street. My emotions got the better of me at this point, and my mum saw my agitation growing. I won't bore you with everything that was said. But by the time we were done with our conversation and getting ready to leave, my mum got the wrong impression, thinking that this wouldn't be the last time we'd meet. She thanked me for giving her this opportunity to spend time with her eldest daughter and said she hoped we could continue to heal our relationship. I had to stop her there, and this is where I'm now second-guessing whether I was too harsh. Because I told her that under no false illusion does this mean we will one day have a mother/daughter relationship. I only gave her this time with me so that we could both say what needed to be said for the closure that would allow us to move on from each other. I don't now, and never will, consider her to be my mum. Yes, she is the woman who gave birth to me, and I will always be thankful to her for carrying me for 9 months and giving birth to me. However, that doesn't mean that I will ever see her as my mum. She began to get rather emotional at this point, but I had to ignore that so I could finish what I wanted to say. I told her that I consider myself to have only one parent, my dad. And before we went our separate ways, while she was still trying to get her emotions under control and begging me to reconsider giving her a second chance, I felt that I had to be brutally honest. I requested that she not contact me or my dad again, and that if I ever wanted to speak to her again, I would be the one to reach out. I'm not heartless. The pain was honestly eating away at me as I watched my mum getting more and more emotional, and I was struggling to keep my own emotions under control. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't. I knew I had to make my message crystal clear to her that I don't want anything to do with her. Not now, or any time in the future. It was only when I met up with my dad and got into the car that I finally broke down and cried hysterically. My dad has given me his full support. He's reassured me that he'll always respect my decision, whether I want my mum in my life, whether I want to go low contact, or completely remove her from my life. He will always support me, and I really appreciate that. His support has reassured me that I've done the right thing. However, while speaking to my best friends, they've been conflicted on the matter. They feel I was too harsh on my mom and that I should have been more responsive to repairing a relationship with her. They believe I should try to give her a second chance, otherwise I might one day regret it. I asked them to change the subject because I didn't want to talk about her anymore. But it did leave me wondering whether I was too harsh on my mum when she was trying to give me a genuine apology for all of her wrongdoings. She has accepted full responsibility for what she did, and acknowledged that there is nothing that could excuse her actions 14 years ago. That makes me feel like my friends were right and that I was a jerk to my mum when we met up. But I'm just confused right now. My dad has offered me the chance to see a therapist for everything I've been through, but I'm reluctant. I'm foolishly hoping that once I've been on this holiday with my dad and we return home, these events with my mum will be in the distant past. Oh, and to finish off, in my last post, I had a number of comments telling me that my dad should chase my mum for child support. I did discuss this with my dad, but it's not something he wants to do. He says that we're fine financially, and he doesn't want to deal with the stress of going through the legal system, which can be slow, and ending up in a prolonged legal battle with her. He's also concerned that this might give my mum more incentive to try to forcibly be more involved in my life, because she's now invested money into me, and that could give her a legal right to some form of access to me. Top/relevant comments. Commenter. She said she regretted the last 10+ years of not being in your life but didn't even contact you once until now. She made her bed when she abandoned you, now let her sleep in it. Actions have consequences. Ops response. She's made a few attempts over the last few years. But I always made it clear each time that I didn't want to have contact with her. I only agreed to meet up with her yesterday with the intention of telling her that I don't want her in my life regardless of what she had to say. But seeing her get as emotional as she did hit me in a way I didn't expect. Commenter 2. Wow, talk about throwing it in your face when she described her children, the one she wanted to be a mother to. Some things can never be fixed, no matter how hard you wish it. And that's a lesson your egg donor is learning. Ops response. I know she was just hoping I might want to have a connection with my half-siblings, but it was incredibly hurtful the way she brought them up in the conversation. She could have gone about addressing them with me in a much better way. And it's not like I'm 100% against the idea of knowing them one day, but I couldn't do it while they're still living at home and under the influence of their mum. Commenter 3. If she had regrets 10 years ago when you were 6, then a mother-daughter relationship might have happened if she was introduced slowly and given a chance to build that bond. This isn't what's happening here. She's expecting an almost adult to be falling over herself at the chance to have a relationship with her and her family. That's why she's already told her kids about their big sister who they're now excited to meet. Any rational person would build a relationship with you first before bringing in more people with expectations you never signed up for. I do think speaking to someone is a good idea. If you're not comfortable with that, journal. Ops response. That's the really sad thing. Up until around the age of 10 to 12, I was still hoping for a chance for my mum to re-enter my life. I would have welcomed her back. That little girl inside me would have forgiven her. But I'm almost an adult now. My dad has done the hard graft of raising me and getting me through school. My childhood is over, and it's too late for her now. I'm receptive to the possibility of one day forming some kind of relationship with my half-siblings. Because I can't hold them accountable for their mum's past behavior towards me. But I couldn't do it before we're all adults and they're no longer under the control of their mum. Commenter 4. So at 20 she was too young for a baby, but your dad wasn't? Your mum wants something. Maybe her new family or in-laws found out about you and questioned how she has no contact. Honestly, you did the absolute right thing for you. You got closure and saw her one last time. She had all those wonderful stories about her kids, but she probably couldn't even tell you your favorite color. Not saying that to hurt, just for clarity. She is not your mum, she's the person who gave birth to you. A mum is someone who raises you, sweats, bleeds, and agonizes over every decision about you. Worries about you and what you're doing. This woman didn't do any of that. Your dad did, and still does. Kudos to your dad for being a man when he could have run. Ops response. My dad said the same thing. My maternal grandparents were both deceased before I was born, which is why they aren't in the picture, but word of my existence probably got out to her husband's family. A mum is someone who raises you, sweats, bleeds, and agonizes over every decision about you. Worries about you and what you're doing. And this is why I show appreciation to my dad on both Mother's Day and Father's Day. Because he took on the duty of being both my mother and father, including certain stages of a daughter's life where a mum is traditionally needed. He has enough love to ensure that I've never gone without. Up on her father trying to keep her mother updated on her life. My dad would always share updates on my life milestones, first day of school, my birthdays, etc., but she never showed interest in the updates that my dad sent her. She blanked my entire existence, so birthday and Christmas presents from her were never a thing. I've had people previously warn me that if I decided to make a connection with my mum and spend time with her, it would hurt my dad's feelings. But rest assured, there is nothing she could offer that would make me want to spend time connecting with her, let alone make me want to choose her over my dad. Because I'm not the only person she hurt with her selfish actions. My dad struggled a lot, and I saw many of his struggles growing up. He did his best to hide them from me, but I saw them. And every time I saw he was upset, I'd always give my dad a cuddle and an I love you. And I'd always feel a great sense of happiness when I saw how happy that made him. I could never forgive the person who caused all that struggle and pain for my dad. It's my daily habit. I don't miss a day when it comes to giving my dad a hug and telling him that I love him.